And Donald Trump's former vice president, Mike Pence, has joined the race for the 2024 Republican nomination. And he's pulling himself further away from the former president. Campaigning in Iowa yesterday, Pence blasted Trump over the January 6 riots, saying he put himself above the Constitution. Robert Costa is in Des Moines with more. Bob, good morning.
Good morning from Des Moines, Iowa. We're here outside the Des Moines River. And yesterday we saw something we haven't seen in presidential politics in quite some time. Former Vice President Mike Pence being more forceful than ever with his former running mate Donald Trump, taking on Trump on both his conduct on January 6th and on some of Trump's policies. After the event, when I asked Pence, "Why are you doing this right now?" Pence simply told me, "It's time."
We are here because we know that Iowa was the right place to start our engines for the great American comeback.
Former Vice President Mike Pence made his presidential run official on Wednesday and wasted no time going after his former boss and the current Republican frontrunner Donald Trump.
President Trump's words were reckless. They endangered my family.
Pence took aim at Trump for pressuring him to overturn the 2020 election.
I hope Mike is going to do the right thing. I hope so.
Anyone who asks someone else to put them over the Constitution should never be president of the United States again.
And he doubled down at a town hall in Iowa Wednesday night.
President Trump was wrong then, he's wrong now.
With roughly a dozen candidates in the race and Pence polling in the single digits, he's counting on a strong showing in next year's Iowa caucuses.
Well, there's a lot of candidates in the race right now, so I think it'll be an uphill climb for everybody.
Pence hopes his conservative record will appeal to the state's religious voters.
I'm a Christian, a conservative, and a Republican in that order.
When something isn't working, you stop and you try something new.
Meanwhile, in his home state of North Dakota, Governor Doug Burgum made his case for why he's running for the White House.
We need a leader who's clearly focused on three things: economy, energy, and national security.
At that town hall last night, Pence was asked about whether Trump should be indicted for his handling of classified materials. Pence said that no one is above the rule of law, but he also noted that in his view, Trump should not be indicted, and he hopes that the Justice Department does not move forward with what he calls a potential dramatic and divisive indictment. Anne Marie?
Have a little bit of that sound a little later on, Bob, but I want to ask you about something else. There are a lot of state GOP conventions that are beginning this week, including tonight in North Carolina. Do we know which candidates we're expected to hear from?
There are going to be many candidates going to all of these state conventions, from North Carolina to Georgia in particular is one I'm watching, Anne Marie, because former President Trump will be at that one over the weekend in Georgia. But you know who will not be there? Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. There's a real divide in the Georgia GOP and at many of these conventions across the country where Republicans are gathering this summer to celebrate their party, but they're also revealing their divisions, because still, more than 2 years later, in many of these states, there are ongoing fights, concerns about the 2020 election, false claims of fraud, and these continue to be dividing lines in many state parties.
So you touched on something right now that the former president is going to be dealing with, and a lot of potential GOP candidates are going to be asked about what to do with Donald Trump and the various investigations. CBS News confirms that federal prosecutors have told Trump's lawyers that he's under criminal investigation. As you mentioned, the former vice president is one candidate who, while running against the former president, is leery of a possible indictment. I want to play some of what he said last night.
But I would just hope that there would be a way for them to move forward without the dramatic and drastic and divisive step of indicting a former president of the United States.
Okay, if there is reason to indict and they choose not to, what other options would be available?
There are other legal options available. If you think about it, there are options like a plea deal, for example, where the federal government, the Justice Department, could approach former President Trump and say, we're on the brink of indicting you, but if you're willing to plead to this lesser charge and accept some guilt for how you handled this classified materials, or potentially even obstructed a federal investigation into those classified records, then maybe there's a way to move forward without a formal indictment. There's just an acceptance of a plea, and there's no trial in that circumstance. Oftentimes with high-profile clients or sensitive cases, there's an exploration of legal options. That could be happening here behind the scenes. So much of this is really like a shark under the water. You don't know what's going on with the grand jury often, but we do know that the Trump lawyers are engaging with the Justice Department.
What a great image.
Excuse me.
Well, bless you. We all know what it's like because we're in the middle of all the smoky air, so we know what it's like to try to hold in that sneeze or cough. Bob, thank you very much.
Thank you.